Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 LR units in DBZ Dokkan Battle, including Easy Aid LRs, and we're going to see basically my top 10. This is a global exclusive list, so any unit that's not on global, meaning full power Jiren at this point, is not going to be included in my top 10. I'm going to do my best to explain why I choose the units, maybe why some others aren't chosen, but realistically it's an opinion, and I see a lot of people get upset about these things. I also don't really believe that the ranking of the units is so important. Like really, number 1 could be number 5, for all I care. I try to pick the one that I think is best, but realistically speaking, if number 1 is number 5 for you and number 6 is number 2, I think generally the top 10 is pretty like flexible depending on what team is currently at its best. So anyway, let's talk about the units in Dokkan. So let's talk about LRs, and let's start off really strong. Obviously, we have Broly here, pretty straightforward, good old Broly, definitely in this list, I think without a doubt. We then have pretty much all of the units from the WWC. I don't really see how they cannot be here in this list. So all 4 of them I think are immediately in this like top 10. Then things start to get a little bit interesting. So firstly, let's talk about throwing in Cell Max for debate. We're going to talk about throwing in Ultra Instinct Goku for a debate. We are definitely going to throw in the Easy Aid Goku and Vegeta, because they are going to be definitely in that debate. We are also going to throw in Physical Gogeta. I think he's definitely up there for discussion. We'll put Broly in. We'll put Beast Gohan in the discussion. Definitely. I think we'll then Gammas, I want to talk about them, so I'll put them there. Zamasu I want to talk about as well. I want to talk about him. Top 10 LRs. I think I kind of want to talk about Bulma. I think this is it. Okay, I think honorable mention or potential ranking there. And what else do we have? Let's see. I think we're good. This could be mentioned. I think that covers us. I think that covers us for top 10. Tempted to put Spirit Bomb Boys in here just because. Ooh. I kind of feel like I want to put these guys there. Yeah, let's see how it goes. I might make some changes. Okay, so let's start with basically I think the top 5. So in no particular order yet. I think you have to have him, and him. For me, I think that's probably the top 5 right now. So Beast Gohan was the undisputed number 1 before the WWC. I think everyone thought he was the best unit in the game. I don't necessarily disagree with them. He led one of the best categories in the game. He's nigh on indestructible, which is like pretty good. Then obviously, like in terms of like just general performance, very strong. I don't think he's the best unit in the game still. For me, honestly, he is incredibly good. But I think if we're talking pure, like unadulterated performance across the board, I feel like it has to be the Super Saiyan trio. The supporting, the double turn supporting, the fact that they've self-revived, I think like 20 different other LRs, is insane. And I think personally they are like absolutely unhinged with how good their supporting structure is, how well they integrate with everyone, and they can tank, they can support, they can do damage. Yes, there's instances where they can get caught out. They've got a huge nuking standby skill. They are really, really, really good. And for me, this might irritate people, I think Broly is number 2. Broly is so good as a first slot tank that he has made move even before Int Broly, the Strength Easy A Broly, you know, even before all of these units, these guys, like this Broly, elevated that team ridiculously. He is so good. He makes the team so accessible. He makes it so strong, so viable. He's just really impressive. Then I think, look, Broly might come down the list. There's a couple things about him that I do need to discuss compared to maybe some other units here. Gohan for now, I have to put 4th. Now I think offensively, Gohan could be here. Like based on pure offense and after super defense, I think he's here. I think he is the undisputed number 1 from that aspect. The Kamehameha lead, honestly for me, is what penalizes him a little bit. Everything else about him is so good. Like so good. But even with the Goten and Trunks, running Kamehameha is a little bit wonky. With that being said, Gohan's on a ton of teams, and all these are interchangeable. I really think you could put him here, them here, him here, them there. I wouldn't even bat an eyelid at you. So that's no problem to me. So that, I think, is our top 4. The position of 5, 6, and 7, I think Broly is definitely in there. I think it then becomes a little bit complicated. So firstly, these 2 here are really freaking good. Like really good. And he is also really good. Okay? And they are also really good. And they are all on the same team. So it does this weird thing where like you have 4 really good units all on the same team, and you're going to see something similar with movie bosses, and it makes that team and those units feel even better because of how good they all are together. I think isolating them to individual units, I would probably say Goku is maybe here. UI Goku, I think, could be there. And I would probably have Vegeta and Goku maybe somewhere around here. Possibly even like this. Just because, so let me explain. MUI Goku, although I believe that Vegeta and Goku, technically for me, I kind of like a little bit more. It's what he enables, bringing everyone together with his domain, and the disable nullification of evasion is absolutely ridiculously massive. So this guy right now is definitely, for me, 5th probably in the list. I think he's really good. I think he's really top, and the fact that he elevates these 2 is, you know, something that has to be discussed. Just gonna add one more line below. So then things get a little bit tricky. So we have a couple units here that I think we have to really assess on a bit of a deeper level. So firstly, okay, I want to really just kind of put some of these units here, which I guess is honorable mention. So Zamasu is here. He's not top 10, but he's so good still. His tankiness has enabled him to really stand out and stay so relative. He's really, really top notch from that perspective. He's a tanky, boss-like unit. Still does great on super bosses. And super bosses led by Broly, and Broly benefits from all these other Brolys. So this is not impossible to run him on the Broly team and see him benefit. Shenron also goes here. Simply put, Shenron ultimately is a really incredible unit that is completely hamstrung by his category. And because of that, and because of the delay between his release, he is just not given a fair chance. On an individual kit basis, this guy is awesome and could be top 10. But GT Bosses as a team would have to do a movie bosses style makeover. Now we're starting to get into units that could potentially be in the top 10. And you know, I honestly would probably mention here as well, just since we're like kind of, you know, talking and mentioning like different units and that, you know, units like Captain Ginyu I think could be very interesting and really good. You know, I think Bulma has such a big uplift now. I think Ultimate Gohan with, you know, the Super Saiyan Gohan really benefits on Martian Buu Saga. There's like a lot of really good units here. Buhan, like I mean there's lots of units you could put in honorable mention. So I don't want to really like go through the whole list. But just like if you're thinking of a good unit that's not here, Buhan, Future Gohan, Blue Boys, Super Saiyan 3 Trio, the Trunks, who I love still by the way, the physical Blue Boys, like all of these people are not bad units. They would be here if they could be here. The Blue Boys as well, also for me, just take this one little step down as an honorable mention unit, largely because of their lead and due to the fact that they are somewhat dependent on other categories to really have that kind of really top tier performance. Now we're narrowing down a bit here. So Cell Max is an incredibly limited unit. He is horrendously limited. He is ridiculously limited. But he fits on the Broly teams. He fits on movie bosses. He fits on uncontrollable power. He meets his passive requirements on all of those teams, and he can really pack a punch. He has an intercept, and he provides some of the last little bits of utility that those teams don't have. Is he a top 10 LR? Difficult to say. I think it's really going to come down to dupes for Cell Max. In terms of raw kind of appearance, he can look insane. But there are definite gaps in his kit defensively that makes me kind of want to leave him here on the outskirts. So then let's talk about number 6. So number 6 for me is Gogeta. A lot of people fail, or kind of not fail, but kind of devalue Gogeta because he has some defensive fragility. Firstly, the Super Saiyan Trio here, 200% lead, absolutely insane synergy, both fitting under each other, huge support for Gogeta. Gogeta is one of those units where I firmly believe the more you use him, the more you realize he is an absolute beast. It's a weird situation. It's like one of those things where you might use him once or twice and go like, oh, you know, he's not that great. I felt the same about like into Fat Buu. I was like, you know, he's good, but he's not that great. Gogeta, the first time you use him, I'd be like, you know, he's okay. He's not insane, he's okay. Then you use him a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time, a sixth time. You're like, wow, this guy's insane. He has to be the best unit in the game. And that for me is like really where I kind of sit with him. He's really good. Not a top 5 unit, but he is a top 6. Then for 9th place, look, I think it's difficult to say because Broly is almost kicked off his own team. But then at the same time, he's not kicked off his own team if you have dupes in him. He then also really aids his team. For me, it comes down to between him and Tech Burley, what you really value. This Burley is more defensively secure, provides a domain effect, and in terms of overall synergy, will elevate the rest of your team more than Tech Burley. However, Tech Burley can hit a literal 130 million attack stat. It is so difficult to evaluate and gauge overall utility versus offensive performance. But at this point in the meta, at the way things work, honestly, I'd have to say this Broly is probably just better. I know it's not what people maybe were expecting, but the thing is, you also have to value in leader skill. This Broly leads Broly's, he leads super bosses. You have to value in domain effect. It's so useful for so many different stages. And just in general, you can't discount those things. The rest of these I think fall into honorable mentions. They are exceptional units. Gammas tied to superheroes. Broly Chi Lemo, amazing, but orb dependent ultimately. And Tech Broly, huge damage dealer, brilliant unit, but just in terms of leader skill, probably outside of the top 10. And that's it for me. That is my top 10 LRs in the game at the moment. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.